Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can see and hear me on your screen now. We've got a few attendees already and it's past half past, so we're going to start. Welcome to the January 2023 Happy New Year AMA from Dynamics Consultants. My name is Jonathan and I'm going to be taking you through some of the questions that we've had in over the last month or two. So let's get straight into it and go on to our first question. First question that we're looking at today is bank reconciliation. How do we close prior year bank entries in our system? So with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up our bank reconciliation screen, do a simple auto match and show you how we can transfer a line where we need to with a GL line that's missing and where we might post that to. So let's start. If I open up bank reconciliation in Business Central and open up one of my bank accounts, you can see on the right hand side of the screen, I've got some ledger entries that are waiting to be matched. The first thing I can do is import my bank statement, and I've got a dummy one behind the scenes waiting for me, which is going to throw in some statement lines into the left hand side. So I've got my statement lines on the left and my ledger entries that I want to match them to on the right hand side. To match them, it's very simple. I've got a manual match or an automatic match, and when I throw my automatic match in, it should hopefully match up some of my lines. Tells me how many it's matched, 2 out of 4 of them. I can see one of them didn't quite match up. That could be because the date's on there. So what I can do is I can click on both those lines where it should match and manually match it in there. And then I've also got one line on my bank statement that's come in, been imported, that I don't have in my ledger entries. This could be just because it hasn't been processed on my system yet. What I can do with this line is from home, I can transfer it straight into a general journal and create the ledger entry on my bank account at the same time. So if I hit transfer and pop it into, let's put it into a payment journal, we can say this cleaning line on my bank statement matches up to one of my accounts. I'm going to pop it in, where shall we put it? Let's pop it in some miscellaneous expense for now, a cleaning expense from my bank. If I scroll along, it should have picked up my checking account, which is good, and picked up the amount. Once I post this general journal and go back into my reconciliation, it's actually tied them up nice and neatly together there. So it's tied up my cleaning line on my bank statement import with my account ledger entry. From that stage, once I've matched up all that I can match up and want to match up, as long as my figures balance, I'd be able to go in and post my bank account reconciliation. Next question that we're going to run through. So we did have another question come in as our second one for the month year end process. This one we're not going to cover again today because we did cover it in last year's Ask Me Anything session. So a link to this should be posted in the chat shortly from one of our guys in the background so that you can go and see that if you wish to, the month end year process and how we go about closing our year end. Question number 3 was about HMRC construction industry scheme filing. Now, this is something that doesn't come standard within Business Central. However, we do have extensions and third-party add-ons in AppSource that provide this functionality. So you can, if you're on a SaaS environment, open up AppSource, download, install, and start trialing some of the extra extensions that Business Central has to offer. We support a few of them. We don't support all of them. Some of them we wouldn't touch. So it's worth having a chat with your project manager or consultant to check on some of those before you just start playing around. But there's so many options in the extensions on there. It's not something we do as standard in Business Central. And that moves us on already very, very quickly to our last question, which was on user profiles. So we received a question in which says we have a team that carry out the same job, but people can see different information on their screens. How can I make it so all of my team see the same information in one place? And this is something that's quite simple to do within Dynamics. So I'm going to open up, first of all, my roles. You see on here, I've got roles or profiles, as Business Central calls them. I've got profiles for each of my different kind of role I may well have within my company. And for the example, I'm going to use a sales order processor role. So you see we've got order processor with a display name of sales order processor in there. It may be that I have 4 or 5 people as sales order processors within my business. First of all, I can see if I go into my 3 dots, let me just expand that, make it a little bit bigger and nicer. My user list, that will show me any users that have this profile or role assigned to them. And I can add new users onto that profile. And then once I've added my users onto that profile, what I'm able to do is I'm able to go in and manage how that profile or role looks. So I'm going to go manage and edit from the very top. We'll see I've got my sales order processor role open. Within this role, you'll see an option for customize pages. And this is where I can customize the profile for the whole group, not just the individual personalizing their page, which you can do, but for the whole role, so everybody sees the same detail. If I click customize pages on there, what it will do is it will pop open a new window that shows my Business Central system with all these little red boxes around it where I can add, I can take away, and I can personalize what's on the screen in front of me. I'm going to go into, for this example, my customers, because I'm sales order processing. And to go into my customer list, all I have to do is hold Control while I click on customers, just while I'm in that personalized menu. And in this case, I'm going to add a field. So it may be that my salespeople, they need to see the currencies against the customer. So if I type in currency code, I can see that. I can drag that into my table on the left-hand side, and straight away I can see what currency these customers are in. When I hit done, it's going to say that it's completed successfully and my sales order processor role is saved. From there, I just have to close the browser. I'll go back to my Business Central to continue on. If I refresh this page now, what you'll see is you'll see straight away that I've got this clear customize pages option is now available to me. And what I can do is I can also see in the related my customer pages, page 22, the customers has got a customization on it. If I've got multiple pages that are customized, I could remove them from here. If I want to clear the whole customization for sales order processor, I can delete it from here. And clearing the customization will get rid of any customizations that I've done for this role. Another option that I do have on the profile, which is worth noting, is your disable personalization. And what this allows you to do is set up a profile like sales order processor so that everybody can see the same thing on the same screen, and then disable personalization so that none of your users can change that screen. Then that allows you to control what each profile is seeing within the system. So you've got the option to disable their personalization beyond what you allow them to in their profile. So hopefully that's answered the question on user profiles, and that takes us out from our last question. There's another question that we did have come in, which is how do we see balance for customers in different currencies against our customer balances. Now, this is another piece of functionality that's not within Business Central. However, we do have a great way of submitting ideas to Microsoft. There's an ideas website, again, which will be posted in the chat. And if they receive enough votes on our ideas, Microsoft will consider adding them to the product in future versions. So I think Stuart's going to post that link into our chat now. And what you can do is you can click on that link, you can log in, you'll have to log in for it, and then you can upvote ideas on there so that we get them seen, and hopefully Microsoft pop them in to our system going forwards. Other things to mention today, if you have any questions for next time's AMA, there's an email address, inquiries@d-c.co.uk. We'll pop that in the chat as well, inquiries@d-c.co.uk, to add in any questions for next time. And there's a couple of important emails about to come out in the coming few days. Keep an eye out on your inboxes and make sure they're sent over to the relevant people within your organisation. So a couple of important DC emails coming out in the next coming days. Hopefully you found some of these answers useful, and there's bits of information in there that you can use on your systems. Without any further ado, thank you very much for joining this session, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you. Bye.